Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this evening. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Getting ready to get this madness underway here shortly. I appreciate y'all joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening. Joe Biden's about to give us some comedy for the ages. What's up? Atomic Tabasco's in the house. While we're waiting on all these guys, make sure you go over to rebelwithoutareason.com. Get all your fun stuff over there. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Rebelwithoutareason.com. You'll also get a link to the website over there to the Rumble show. You know, sometimes they try to hide the links from y'all, try to hide the show, don't get notifications, etc. We're going to watch Trump's live response from the Truth Social. Yeah, I'm going to pull that up. I'm glad you said that. Give me 1 second. I'm going to do that.
And it looks like the Senate's about to depart. We've seen both Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer, the two leaders there, and eagle-eyed viewers, longtime C-SPAN 2 watchers will note that former Senator Patrick Leahy was there as well. And he's no longer a senator, but he has privileges. There's Vice President Harris joining the group, and she'll escort with them over across the Capitol. And looks like there's some activity at the White House as well. We expect the President and Mrs. Biden to depart from the South Portico in just a few minutes, and we'll catch that action as well. The House lights in the Capitol, in the House, should be coming up in about 5 minutes or so. When that happens, that means a lot of the members are on the floor. We'll have TV coverage, and we'll be able to watch 20, 25 minutes of coverage before the speech begins. Now, after President Biden's speech, Katie Britt, first-term senator, Alabama, will be giving the Republican response. She's 42 years old, a longtime legislative aide to former Senator Richard Shelby. She is the youngest GOP woman senator ever elected. So, and she'll be giving the response about 5 minutes after the president finishes. Let's return to the Capitol and potentially to the White House as well. Y'all tell me how good you can see that when I put this up here. Put Donald Trump's Truth Social up here so we can all watch this shit in real time. Gotta be able to see Biden's big stupid face though.
What's up, SC Wolverines in the house? Gonna be listening in the background. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully Sonya will be coming in pretty soon. Yeah, he's gonna be live posting. If I can get the video, I'll get it. But we're gonna have to rely on his True Social posts.
And you can see the Senate there walking through Statuary Hall into the House chamber. We expect the president to be leaving shortly from the White House, 16 blocks up Pennsylvania Avenue. Of course, he doesn't have to stop for traffic or lights, so it's not a long drive for him. And the lights in the House chamber should be coming on momentarily. So we will be going to that as well, show you the action on the House floor. President's State of the Union address due to begin at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, about 24 minutes from now.
You heard the man, so we're just gonna hang out and chill for just a moment. I'm the usual suspects now. Oh, cackling. Kamala. So much ass kissing going on right now. Kiss it. Yeah, I'm trying to work it out right now, Atomic. Can y'all see that decently? I'm about to put that on the screen for you. You should get it here in just a second. Looks good to me over here on my iPad, but I'm hoping that's going to work. I put it on the overlay mode. Anthony, what's going on, Anthony? Oh, here he comes. Here comes the man now. Ain't nobody out there cheering for him or nothing. I guess everybody's waiting for him just to show up there. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. This is going to be hilarious. Make sure you get your drinks, get your snacks. If you want to get your bingo card put out there so you can do some shots every time he says, guess what? Thank you, Atomic. I appreciate that. Hope everybody can see everything is great. Hope everybody can hear everything good. If we have any issues, please let me know. If we got any updates from the big man himself. You know, Trump is kicking back with some KFC and some Sprite. Getting ready to do live commentary on this fool. Got all the usual jokesters in the house. They see Wolverine says, I'm gonna get a bottle of Pepto. Dude, you might need it after watching this. Hope we're gonna be able to see this okay.
And you're watching members of the House and Senate gather on the House floor live. We're about 10 minutes away from the State of the Union. And as you can see, the president just left the White House, seemingly a little late. Greta Bronner, do you have any information on that?
Yeah, the Washington Post noted about 20 minutes ago that ceasefire protesters were occupying the route the president takes, his motorcade takes, from the White House to the Capitol. Around 250 were sitting on Pennsylvania Avenue. The protesters projected Biden's legacy as genocide onto the East Building of the National Gallery of Art, and are demanding that the U.S. end funding to Israel. So not sure if that is what delayed the president's departure. He is expected to speak toward the top of the hour or a little after, but that is from the Washington Post. Live coverage here of the State of the Union on C-SPAN.
Oh, fancy Nancy Pelosi there. So he has protesters out there protesting they were blocking his way to come to the situation here to speak tonight. Go back to live mode here. There goes old Mittens Romney. Traitor. Another rhino.
The joint session will come to order. The chair appoints as members of the committee on the part of the House to escort the President of the United States into the chamber. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. The gentleman from Utah, Mr. Moore. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McClain. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole. The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Reschenthaler. The gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Rogers. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Del Bene. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Nagoose. The gentlewoman
Dude,
from
listen to all this
Illinois,
gendered
Ms.
language.
Underwood. The gentlewoman from Texas,
Cancel this guy
Ms.
immediately.
Escobar. The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Trahan. The gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Kildee.
The President of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States into the House chamber. The Senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The Senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin. The senator from Washington, Mrs. Murray. The senator from Michigan, Ms. Stabenow. The senator from Minnesota, Ms. Klobuchar. The senator from Virginia, Mr. Warner. The senator from Wisconsin, Ms. Baldwin. The senator from Kentucky, Mr. McConnell. The senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The senator from West Virginia, Mrs. Capito. And the senator from Iowa, Ms. Ernst.
The members of the escort committee will exit the chamber through the lobby doors.
Dude, this is about to be crazy. Here goes a purple-haired weirdo. Kamala Harris got her Seinfeld shirt on.
The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. Mr. Speaker, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court.
While they're introducing everybody here to come in, I'm going to read this truth. The president is very substantially late, not a good start. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure he had very important things to do, but he's just now getting into the car. They will have to drive very, very quickly. You don't just want to be late to the State of the Union. They will need Mario Andretti to be at the wheel of the limo. Try to make that bigger for y'all if I can. Maybe I need to get the hell out of the way and come over here. get down here out of the way. Fonzie. The Fonz in the house. Fawn says, well, it's all Trump's fault that Biden's late to the party. Of course, everything's Trump's fault. You know that. Anthony, he stumbled into the car. Of course he did. There's a Byron Donalds. Who do y'all think Trump's going to pick for vice president? Let me know in the comments. Ketanji. With those Sheila Lee. Here goes Biden. Here he comes. Dude, everybody and their mom is on True Social right now. Yeah, he probably did shit his pants. They were saying that there were some protesters shining ceasefire and some kind of derogatory messages about Biden onto the library. Here's another message from Trump. Says there is nothing he can say tonight that can absolve him from letting 15 million people into our country illegally. He'll probably blame me, but I had the safest border in the history of our country, so that won't go very far. He'll definitely try to blame Trump for everything. They always do. Damn Trump. Atomic says Vivek or Stefanik. Okay. Devin's in my boat. I wish he would have picked Larry Elder. I think he would. I think he should too. He'd be a damn good choice in my opinion. There was Sotomayor and Roberts right there. Oh, and did y'all see that, before they get started, did y'all see that they had, the lady that accused Kavanaugh came out and recanted her story? She said she was lying. Big surprise. Lindsey Graham, there's a snake. Everybody, somebody get something. Get one of those snake handlers. Lindsey Graham's in the house. Slithering around. Look at him. I'm a sneaky snake. I can't believe Trump lets him get on the stage with him. His ass got booed last time, too. I think it was North Carolina or South Carolina. Refresh my memory on that. Atomic says drink every time MAGA or Trump is mentioned or blamed. Dude, the only time they ever say Trump's actual name is when they're trying to blame him for something. Oh, Rubio's in the house. Oh, dude, I know. I can't stand Lindsey Graham. I don't know why he fucks with him, but he says anytime he deals with the left hand side, he's got an issue. He calls on Lindsey Graham to help him out. Like, you don't need no help from no damn Lindsey Graham. Get the hell out of here. After we're done with this fiasco, we're going to jump over to the Rumble side, and we are going to get into that P. Diddy litigation that's going on right now. That story is so juicy. You're going to want to hear it. After we do this madness here, we're going to all jump over to the Rumble channel. Everybody follow me over there. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Oh, don't call in now. Hey, hit me on that Cash App, though, if you need to. Boom. $ Rebel without a reason. I'll let your boy, because they demonetized the YouTube channel again, and they'll probably do it again after all this. Make sure you follow me over there on X, formerly known as Twitter. Rebel, WOA Reason. You can get this on your favorite podcasting platforms too. We're going to do all that. After this thing's over, there's Bernie laughing about how many mansions he's got. Hold on, let me tell you how many mansions I have. Blaney. Can't do Cash App. You can donate on Rumble. Or you can hit that PayPal link. All that stuff's in the description on the YouTube side. Also in the description box on Rumble. Make sure you go to rebelwithoutareason.com. Get all your merchandise over there. You'll also get a link to the Rumble show. Click that link. If you get lost out there in the internet universe, just go to rebelwithoutareason.com. You'll find the link to the Rumble show there. I think about something like we're all sweating about day-to-day life, and all these, every single person in this room, they ain't hurting for nothing, dude. They're all fat cats with nice suits, drivers, assistants, nannies, living the good life on our dime. Tucker review after. Yeah, we'll have to do that on the Rumble side, though, if we do that, because YouTube would try to smack my pee-pee. Look at Nadler looking at his nudes. You about to fall asleep out there. It's late, though. It's 9 o'clock on their time. Yeah, I'm not hating successful either, but these motherfuckers do it on our dime. You know what I mean? They're supposed to work for us. Only job I ever heard of where the employees make more money than the employer. What up, fat cat? Everybody get their bling on in there tonight. Looking stylish. Everybody's together. Ain't that the first gentle lady? Hey, what's up, girl? He's so silly, this guy. Don't tell him that you smacked my balls. Let's go Truth Social. Load up these comments. Everybody and their mama's monitoring this shit too, I bet. Sonya's on the Rumble channel. What's up, Sonya? Trying to get my windows in order over here. It's damn mission control on this beast. Oh, here comes Dr. Jill. Come on, Dr. Jill. Alice Cooper is in the house. Alice Cooper's stunt double's in the house. Here he comes.
Mr. Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
Boo. There goes Blinken. There goes Mr. Missing in Action. Whatever happened with that, too? He just disappeared for days on end, and nobody was like, hey, he'll come back when he comes back. The bad lip reading. They do some funny stuff. There goes Petey Booty. Petey the Booty Judge. Big Pete. I don't know what's going on with my True Social post over here. Ted Cruz in the house. Yeah, that's facts for sure, Wolverine. SC Wolverine says it's a big club and you ain't in it. For damn sure. Pay for all their amenities, though. Try to get this True Social working. Working on my damn nerves. I don't know what the issue is with True Social. It's probably everybody and their mama trying to get on there. Everybody wants to read Trump's comments as he's doing the shit live. Well, do it live. Could just be my raggedy ass computer, though. Who knows? I paid the bill on this motherfucker. I don't know what the problem is. All right, here we go. Another truth from Donald Trump. It says Maxine Waters, very nice woman, even though she's constantly saying she wants to beat up or kill people on the opposite side of the aisle. If I ever said that, they would call me an insurrectionist and all hell would break out. Truth. Or truth. Then he had another one here, said, thankfully, we won't have to look at Rhino Mitt Romney much longer. Sonia's giving us random facts. Oh, here comes Big Joe now.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Sloppy Joe. Everybody put down your Metamucil and put your hands together for Jackson Heights' own Mr. Sloppy Joe Biden. Yeah. Before they started this, C-SPAN was talking about how the, I believe it was the speaker was trying to tell everybody to not heckle on Joe Biden because they did that last time. They were wrecking his ass. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, they were tearing his ass up last time. Oh shit, there goes Marjorie Taylor Greene.
This is about you. This is about the soul of the
She get that 45 hat on. Yeah, Carmen, I think there's just a lot of people on Truth Social right now. I'm on there right now. You can see the feeds going. It was taking a second to reload. I think there's just a lot of people that wants to listen to the president's commentary, or read his commentary, I should say. Just be patient and let it reload. But you got it right here, so don't worry yourself. Just kick back, with your snacks, get a drink. He does look like a kid at a surprise birthday party, Sonia. Did he just straight up snub Marjorie Taylor Greene? He ain't trying to give her no love.
How are you doing? Today is the 59th anniversary of the summit. Oh, good. All right, Mr. President. Here we go. Oh, no. You got it? That's it.
He sure does, Sonia. Sonia asked if Chuck Schumer has an imprint of glasses on his face, and he actually does. He took them off, but he looks like he's still wearing the shit. 2 hours later, for real, dude. They trying to act like he's Mr. Popular and shit, making it go on for a real long time. They're going to say tomorrow, they'll say tomorrow, longest standing ovation in the history of any presidency. All that horse shit. All right, we got several from Trump here. This Joe Manchin had it made, was one of the most popular politicians in America, but then he, as he usually does, blew it. He approved the Inflation Reduction Act, and he was toast, not recoverable. Oh, hell no. These motherfuckers talking about 4 more years. Shit, we can't handle 4 more years. Look at that lady there. Trump says Crooked Joe is making his way to the chamber. Very disrespectful to some, not good. Yeah, it seemed like he snubbed Marjorie Taylor Greene directly. He didn't even say nothing to her. They are really late, very disrespectful to our country, Trump says. Get your old ass up there, Papa. Let's go. Fawn says it's going to be 4 more years before he makes his speech. Facts. Taking forever and a day, son. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me. I definitely appreciate y'all being here. Whoa, man. Whoa. They gave me Cheerios this morning. And ice cream with sprinkles. Anthony. Is that a body double with a really good mask? Dude, he don't look nothing like the first Biden. Let's go. Yeah, he says, okay, enough stalling. Let's go. Yeah, go, finally. Bullshitting the whole way up there. The way they inflate this motherfucker kills me. Here goes my book of nursery rhymes. Here's what they read me go night-night. Kamala, take my notes. Who's he saluting to? Noel Garcia's in the house. What up, what up? Dude, milking it out, son. We're 57 minutes into this broadcast. It's supposed to start at 8 o'clock. It's 8:26. He was late. And these motherfuckers been going on the whole time. Like, that titty is dry. Milking it dry. You should have banged that shit a long time ago. Come on, dude. Yeah, decorum.
Good evening. Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now.
Dude, they're...
Speaker.
Oh, shit.
Madam Vice President, members of Congress, my fellow Americans. In January 1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. But Ukraine can stop Putin.
Is she still standing up behind you? Hang on.
Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that needs to defend itself. That is all. That is all Ukraine is asking. They're not asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Now,
take a shot every time Kamala Harris stands up.
Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want. That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
Y'all about to be toe up.
America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations created after World War II to prevent war and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning, Sweden officially joined, and their minister is here tonight. Can they stand up?
Sweden, ja.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome onto the NATO, ja.
And they know how to fight. Mr. Prime Minister, welcome to NATO, the strongest military alliance the world has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is watching. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm. My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. I will not bow down. In a literal sense, history is watching. History is watching. Just like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th, when insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you were here on that darkest of days. We all saw with our own eyes the insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people. January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a great, gravest threat to U.S. democracy since the Civil War. But they failed. America stood. America stood strong, and democracy prevailed. We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies.
Is he going to expose all the videotapes?
You can't love your country only when you win. As I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask all of you without regard to party to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office of defending against all threats, foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
Respect free and fair elections. Restore trust in our institutions. And make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America, zero place. Again, it's not hyperbole to suggest history is watching. We're watching. Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have that second child, but the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep this waiting any longer. Guarantee the right to AVF. Guarantee it nationwide. Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more. Thank you. My predecessor came to office determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, the wife and mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus of a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned her ability to act, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others. There are state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest to leave their states to get the treatment they need. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you're right about that.
What? They don't even know what they're cheering for.
Clearly.
They missed his line. Clearly.
Those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
As the coffin's going to start now. Trump says, who kissed him on the cheek with lipstick? Now he's got lipstick on his face. How stupid of her. Who kissed him on the cheek with lipstick?
If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again.
Boo. His hair is much better in the front than in the back. Here goes that coffin again. This is the longest walk in presidential history. This is ridiculous.
America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward, because I know how far we come. 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses? Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives of loved ones, millions left behind? A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable.
Lies.
I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news, but in 1,000 cities and towns, the American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told.
What? What?
So let's tell the story here. Tell it here and now.
Tell it.
America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all America, in all Americans, to make sure everyone has a fair shot, and we leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does.
The
That's what America does.
Joe Biden just said that the COVID vaccine can now stop cancer. What the fuck?
Folks, our inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record. Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will.
The EPA says
More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up. Inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right here in America, where they belong.
giving them to all them illegals that are coming over here.
And it takes time, but the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy America has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor,
tell us about the clause.
Some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American roads, bridges, and highways, will be made with American products and built by American workers.
Lies.
Creating good paying American jobs. And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before. During the pandemic, a shortage of semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we invented those chips right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. In fact, my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America. And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you have strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in. I like it. I'm with you.
Dude.
And if any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know. Modernize our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water without risk of brain damage.
What the fuck? Without risk of brain damage? Talk to the people in Flint, Michigan about that.
Affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states. Record investments in tribal communities. Because of my investment in the family farm, because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about this than anybody I know, we're better able to stay in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living. It's transformative. The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois, home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years. Before I came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised the Belvedere repeatedly with auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded. Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, and new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same.
Yeah, I'm reloading his page right now. There's 1 million people on this True Social page. It's loading very slow.
The folks of Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs of the future go overseas, 4,000 union jobs with higher wages are building the future in Belvedere right here in America.
Look how enthusiastic everybody is.
Here tonight is UAW President Shawn Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Shawn, where are you? Stand up. And Dawn Sims, a third-generation worker, UAW worker at Belvedere. Shawn, I was proud to be the first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in her hometown, providing stability for her family and pride and dignity as well. Showing once again, Wall Street didn't build America. They're not bad guys. They didn't build it, though. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class.
Boo. Dude, what I thought was funny when he was talking about the roads and shit, the camera zoomed right in on Pete Buttigieg, and he was like, oh, that shit looked like some SNL skit.
I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down, we get back up. We keep going. That's America. That's you, the American people. It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger.
Kamala is on a springboard back there. He's got a little foot switch that'll pop her up out of her seat every time he says something. Oh my God.
Tonight,
we ain't gonna make it 4 more years with this motherfucker.
Possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over, and the wealthy and the biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the state of the United States combined. And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation. But I grew up in a home where trickle-down economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table.
Read it.
That's why I determined to turn things around so middle class does well. When they do well, the poor go way up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And there's more to do to make sure you're feeling the benefits of all we're doing. Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's wrong, and I'm ending it.
There she is. Jumping up there, headboard Harris.
With a law that I proposed and signed, not one of you Republican buddies voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month,
here we go with the 35
with diabetes, and it only costs $10 to make.
$35.
They only get paid $35 a month now and still make a healthy profit. And I want to.
He said this in every single speech.
What to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it. Everyone.
Free shots for everybody, but you got to pay for insulin.
People have talked about it, but finally we got it done and gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs, just like the VA is able to do for veterans. That's not just saving seniors money, it's saving taxpayers money. We cut the federal deficit by $160
Look at Bernie with his mask on. Bernie didn't have that mask on earlier. Remember when he was laughing earlier? He didn't have that fucking mask on earlier.
We'll no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices to Big Pharma. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market to treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. It's now time to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade. They're making a lot of money, guys. And they'll still be extremely profitable. Will not only save lives, it will save taxpayers another $200 billion. Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year, even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone. Folks.
And free meth pipes for people. Fuck yeah.
I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but if you want to get in Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin, Moscow, well, even Moscow probably. And bring your prescription with you, and I promise you I'll get it for you for 40% the cost you're paying now. Same company, same drug, same place. Folks, the Affordable Care Act, the old Obamacare, is still a very big deal. Over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing condition. But my predecessor, and many in this chamber, want to take this prescription drug away by repealing the Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen. We stopped you 50 times before, and we'll stop you again.
I wonder if he's going to do
I'm
it.
not only
Guess
protecting
what?
it, I'm expanding it. The enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year reduce health care costs for millions of working families. That tax credit expires next year. I want to make that savings permanent.
You can want to do a lot of shit, but can you do it?
To state the obvious, women are more than half our population, but research on women's health has always been underfunded. That's why we're launching the first ever White House initiative on women's health research, led by Jill, doing an incredible job as First Lady.
Rehearsed our piece, grab hands. Remember that thing we rehearsed? See how she reached off the cross to her? Weird.
So pass my plan for $12 billion to transfer women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America. I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years. And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages. When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters, we're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws by price fixing and driving up rents. We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down. To remain the strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world. And I, like I suspect all of you, want to give every child, a good start by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know, I think I pointed out last year
He's trying to keep going, but they're trying to drag it on.
That children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school, kindergarten, or first grade, having heard 1 million fewer words spoken. Well, studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is.
Yeah, True Social is spinning. I'm trying it on my phone too, but people are overwhelming the network.
A year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable, they were mad that they were angry. I think, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education. I pointed out to them as vice president, I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact number. And I asked them what they need most, the CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world. And every new enterprise they bought, they educated the workforce to that enterprise. But none of you do that anymore. Why are you angry with me providing you the opportunity for the best educated workforce in the world? And they all looked at me and said, I think you're right. I want to expand high-quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read by 3rd grade.
People in Baltimore can't even fucking read. What are you talking about?
I'm also connecting local businesses and high schools so students get hands-on experience and a path to a good-paying job, whether or not they go to college. And I want to make sure that college is more affordable. Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants to working and middle-class families and increase record investments in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, including Hispanic institutions. And I was told I couldn't universally just change the way in which we dealt with student loans. I fixed 2 student loan programs that already existed to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and others in public service. Like Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota, who's here with us tonight. Keenan, where are you? Keenan, thank you. He's educated hundreds of students so they can go to college. Now he's able to help, after debt forgiveness, get his own daughter to college. And folks, look, such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family. While we're at it, I want to give public school teachers a raise. And by the way, the first couple of years, we cut the deficit. Now, let me speak to the question of fundamental fairness for all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. Over $1 trillion. I signed the bipartisan deal to cut another $1 trillion in the next decade. It's my goal to cut the federal deficit another $3 trillion by making big corporations and very wealthy finally beginning to pay their fair share. Look,
AOC.
I'm a capitalist. If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes. A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great. Healthcare, education, defense, and so much more. But here's the deal. The last administration enacted a $2 trillion tax cut, overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%, the very wealthy and the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal deficit. They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American history. check the numbers. Folks at home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair? No. Do you really think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? No. I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like hell to make it fair. Under my plan, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in federal taxes. Nobody, not one penny. And they haven't yet. In fact, the child tax credit I passed during the pandemic cut taxes for millions of working families and cut child poverty in half. Restore that child tax credit. No child should go hungry in this country. The way to make the tax code fair is to make big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%. So every big corporation finally begins to pay their fair share. I also want to end tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive executive pay when it's only supposed to be $1 million that could be deducted. They can pay them $20 million if they want, but deduct $1 million. End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine
Not
a future
a damn thing.
with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member. Imagine the future of home care and elder care, and people living with disabilities so they can stay in their homes and family caregivers can finally get the pay they deserve. Tonight, let's all agree once again to stand up for seniors. Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle want to put Social Security on the chopping block. If anyone here tries to cut Social Security, Medicare, or raise the retirement age, I will stop you. The working people who built this country pay more into Social Security than millionaires and billionaires do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh, no. You guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear. I'll protect and strengthen Social Security and make the wealthy pay their fair share. Look, too many corporations raise prices to pad their profits, charging more and more for less and less. That's why we're cracking down on corporations that engage in price gouging and deceptive pricing, from food to health care to housing. In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice if they change the size of the bag and put a hell of a lot fewer, same size bag, put fewer chips in it. No, I'm not joking. It's called shrinkflation. Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this. I really mean it.
I love how the camera's right on him at that moment of the
commercial
speech.
on Snickers bars. You get charged the same amount, and you got about, I don't know, 10% fewer Snickers in it. Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those hidden fees at the end of your bill that are there without your knowledge. My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8. Banks and credit card companies are allowed to charge what it costs them to instigate the collection. And that's more a hell of a lot like $8 and 30-some dollars. They don't like it. The credit card companies don't like it. But I'm saving American families $20 billion a year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating. Folks at home, that's why the banks are so mad. It's $20 billion in profit. I'm not stopping there. My administration has proposed rules to make cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell you the total price up front so there are no surprises. It matters.
Nobody can afford it anyway, fuckwad. What are you talking about?
So does this. In November, my team began serious negotiation with a bipartisan group of senators. The result was a bipartisan bill with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen. Oh, you don't think so? Oh, you don't like that bill, huh? That conservatives got together and said it was a good bill? I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
How about close it and don't let anybody else in here? You don't cost you a dime.
100 more high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children. This bill would save lives and bring order to the border. It will also give me and any new president new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border is overwhelming. The Border Patrol Union has endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts. I know you know how to read.
I know you know how to
I believe
read.
that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win, he viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him, it's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really. I'd
be a winner, not really. He fucking it up. He fucking it up. He fucking it up. Get your notes. Get your notes.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth taking the chance of the $8,000. But
holy shit, dude. I can't believe he's talking about this.
6 weeks. The idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks,
Trump says the drugs are wearing off.
I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now.
Dude, I'm surprised he even said her name up there, and he admitted that she was killed by an illegal. That's big. He's going to get roasted tomorrow.
And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's what he apparently here's what he will not do. I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country.
No, but he said they were illegals, though.
Separate families.
Trump said the coffin. It's always the coffin. Always the coffin.
Ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. And so much more.
Look at Mayorkas.
I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, whose ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of every place, from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland.
Oh, come on.
Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all Americans.
Get that coffin going again. He about to die. Look at Elizabeth Warren. She's scared. She worried for him. Trump says they only show the Democrats clapping. They rarely show the other side of the room. It's called the Republican side.
We can fight about fixing the border, or we can fix it. I'm ready to fix it.
I'm ready to fix it.
Send me the border bill now.
Send it now. Yeah, fix it, you dumb fuck.
Transformational moment in history. Happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama. Hundreds of foot soldiers for justice marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their fundamental right to vote. They were beaten, they were bloody, and left for dead. Our late friend and former colleague, John Lewis, was on that march. We miss him.
Trump says Republicans have no plan to cut Social Security, made up by story by Crooked Joe.
Joining us tonight, our other marchers, both in the gallery and on the floor, including Betty Mae Fikes, known as the voice of Selma, the daughter of gospel singers and preachers. She sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's conscience. 5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law.
Biden says, Trump says inflation under Biden is killing America.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'll reload this beast while he's pandering. Red Hot Patriot says, what about gas prices and inflation
59
exactly?
years later, there are forces taking us back in time. Voter suppression, election subversion, unlimited dark money, extreme gerrymandering. John Lewis is a great friend to many of us here.
They act like he's in
church. If you
church.
truly want to honor him and all the heroes who marched with him, then it's time to do more than talk. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act, the John Lewis Voting Right Act.
Everybody that's an American citizen that is not a convict already has the right to vote. Why do you got to pass some kind of act for it?
Stop denying another core value of America, our diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights. Pass the Equality Act. And my message to transgender Americans, I have your back. Pass the PRO Act for workers' rights. Raise the federal minimum wage, because every worker has a right to a decent living more than $7 an hour. We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it. I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis. At least I hope you don't. I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world. I'm cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030, creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs, like the IBEW workers building and installing 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Conserving 30% of America's lands and waters by 2030. And taking action on environmental justice, fence line communities smothered by the legacy of pollution. And patterned after the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I launched the Climate Corps to put 20,000 young people to work in the forefront of our clean energy future. I'll triple that number in a decade. To state the obvious, all Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. And America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then.
What the fuck?
Through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add, we made the largest investment in public safety ever. Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more community police officers, more mental health workers, more community violence intervention. Give communities the tool to crack down on gun crime, retail crime, and carjacking. Keep building trust, as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land. Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana and expunging thousands of convictions for the mere possession, because no one should be jailed for simply using or have it on their record.
I don't know who that was heckling him, and I don't even know what they said.
I'm ramping up the federal enforcement of the Violence Against Women Act that I proudly wrote when I was a senator, so we can finally end the scourge against women in America.
Trump says Biden talked about the Snickers bars before he talked about the border.
There are other kinds of violence I want to stop.
Trump derangement syndrome.
With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was murdered with 21 classmates and teachers in elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days. We spent hours and hours with each of the families. We heard their message, so everyone in this room, in this chamber, could hear the same message. The constant refrain, and I was there for hours meeting with every family. They said, do something. Do something. Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun Violence Prevention in the White House, that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, she's supposed to be the border czar, too. It hadn't been there one time. They made her the administrator or the head of the gun violence board or some shit.
My predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oh. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote, just get over it. I say, stop it.
Another quote taken out of context.
I'm proud we beat the NRA when I signed the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years because of this Congress. We now must beat the NRA again. I'm demanding a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Pass universal background checks.
You already have to have a background check when you buy a gun.
None of this. I taught the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates the Second Amendment or vilifies responsible gun owners. You know, as we manage challenges at home, we're also managing crises abroad, including in the Middle East. I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people, for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian people, and so many here in America. This crisis began on October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know. 1,200 innocent people, women and girls, men and boys, slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and 250 hostages taken. Here in this chamber tonight are families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas. I pledge to all the families that we will not rest until we bring every one of your loved ones home. We also...
Trump's talking about the coughing. He says, see, he's already getting ready to cough again into his right hand, and the fake news media is going to rush him off screen. Don't shake people's hands going out.
We'll also work around the clock to bring home Evan and Paul, Americans being unjustly detained by the Russians and others around the world. Israel has the right to go after Hamas. Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it by releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering those responsible for October 7th. But Israel has Israel has a added burden because Hamas hides and operates among the civilian population like cowards, under hospitals, daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza. This war has taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed, most of whom are not Hamas. Thousands and thousands of innocent women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly 2 million more Palestinians under bombardment or displacement. Homes destroyed, neighborhoods in rubble, cities in ruin, families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released, all the hostages released, to get the hostages home and ease the intolerable and humanitarian crisis and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Tonight, I'm directing the U.S. military to lead an emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary pier will enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day.
Trump's trolling him over here. It says endorsed by Biden. I'm sorry, it says endorsed by Vladimir Putin.
Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire. And they're announcing they're going to have a crossing in northern Gaza. To the leadership of Israel, I say this: humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip. Protecting and saving innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over time.
It has nothing to do with you. That's their business, not ours.
And I say this as a lifelong supporter of Israel. My entire career, no one has a stronger record with Israel than I do. I challenge any of you here. I'm the only American president of Israel in wartime. But there is no other path that guarantees Israel's security and democracy. There is no other path that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace with peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with whom I'm talking. Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's why I built a coalition of more than a dozen countries to defend international shipping and freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. I've ordered strikes to degrade the Houthi capability and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate to direct further measures to protect our people and our military personnel.
Except the Afghanistan soldiers.
For years, I've heard many of my Republican and Democratic friends say that China is on the rise and America is falling behind. They've got it backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the best economy in the world. And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against China's unfair economic practices.
I'm pretty sure that he used to say that China was going to eat our lunch.
I've revitalized our partnership and alliance in the Pacific. India, Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing to trade them there. Frankly, for all this tough talk on China, it never occurred to my predecessor to do any of that.
Come on, man. He put them tariffs on them asses.
China, not conflict. And we're in a stronger position to win the conflict of the 21st century against China than anyone else, for that matter, than any time as well.
Liar.
Here at home, I've signed over 400 bipartisan bills, but there's more to pass my unity agenda. Strengthen penalties on fentanyl trafficking. You don't want to do that, huh? Pass bipartisan privacy legislation to protect our children online. Harness.
Stand up for that shit, Kamala. There you go, you dumb fuck.
Ban AI voice impersonations and more.
Ban TikTok. How
Keep
about
our
that?
truly sacred obligation to train and equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home and when they don't.
Trump says he wants to take away everyone's guns. Remember that when you go to the voting booth, because if I'm not elected, your guns are gone along with your freedom.
One of the most significant laws ever, helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins who now are battling more than 100 different cancers. Many of them don't come home, but we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H, and remind us that we can do big things, like end cancer as we know it, and we will.
Just get Maxine Waters to nag it to death. They could get Maxine Waters to stare down cancer and win.
This. Yay. I know you don't want to hear any more, Lindsay, but I got to say a few more things. I know it may not look like it, but I've been around a while.
Look at Lindsey Graham.
When you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever. I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation. Between those who want to pull America back to the past and those who want to move America into the future. My lifetime has taught me to embrace freedom and democracy, a future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality, to respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor.
Except Republicans, right?
Other people my age see it differently. The American story of resentment, revenge, and retribution, that's not me. I was born amid World War II when America stood for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy, were assassinated. And their legacies inspired me to pursue a career in service. I left the law firm and became a public defender because my city of Wilmington was the only city in America occupied by the National Guard after Dr. King was assassinated because of the riots. And I became a county councilman almost by accident. I got elected to the United States Senate when I had no intention of running at age 29. Then vice president to our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president.
Stand up for yourself. Kamala's a douchebag. Trump says he made Iran rich. This is why we have the problems in the Middle East. With me, Iran was broke. He's the reason that the Middle East is blowing up.
By the way, they're going to let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. They're not a joke. And I've been told I'm too old. Whether young or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal and deserves to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I won't walk away from it now. I'm optimistic. I really am. I'm optimistic, Nancy. My fellow Americans,
Nancy can't even say it.
the issue facing our nation isn't how old we are. It's how old are our ideas. Hate, anger, revenge, retribution are the oldest of ideas. But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back. You lead America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending democracy, you don't diminish it. I see a future where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away. I see a future
Pocahontas.
where the middle class finally has a fair shot and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes. I see a future.
This motherfucker ripping off I Have a Dream.
Climate crisis and our country from gun violence. Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And there's
Nothing we can do. Nothing.
beyond our capacity when we act together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Same ending on the speech every single fucking time, dude. Thank God that shit's over. Holy macaroni. Now it's going to be 75 minutes of him trying to leave this bitch. I wonder if he'll take as much time leaving as he did coming in. Because everybody's already bonking out before he even leaves. Wow, how insulting. Everybody else is bonking out. I'm done with this. Maybe it's all the Republicans leaving, who knows. Latina, what's going on, Latina? Let's catch up on some of these truths while we're waiting for Biden to make his stupid exit. Gotta hear some of this clown shit, though. Look at the security guard right here. The only thing he's guarding is the pack of donuts. I didn't see Nikki Haley in the house. Did anybody see Nikki Haley there?
I'll tell you what Jim Eason once said to me. He said, what did old Jim Eason do for you in Delaware? I said, Mr. Chairman, someplace you'd help and someplace you'd hurt. He looked at me and said, I'll come and campaign for you again. Whichever helps.
Come on now.
So Bernie, look at Bernie's mask is off now. Why did Bernie have the mask on while Biden was talking? I've talked about this before. This shit's on a 15-second delay too, so who knows what's going to happen after this. But they did at the very beginning. I don't know if y'all paid attention. We have to go back all the way to the very beginning. At the very fucking first joke, he talked about if I was smarter, I wouldn't have came or something like that. I don't remember the joke that he did. Everybody kind of laughed, and immediately after that, boom, they did a cut. So I don't know what was said after that or where it went, but they definitely did a cut right there, in my opinion. Back to Bernie's mask. Yes, Atomic, thank you. He's talking about Ukraine. You can't really hear what the hell he's saying, though. But Bernie's mask, this shit gets broadcast worldwide. So when other people watch this, they're like, oh shit, they're still doing the mask thing. I guess we should do the mask thing too. That's my theory on that shit. He just wants to be that way for the camera. What's this handkerchief all about on Homeboy's neck? He's been hanging out with the scarf chick. Oh, those Ukraine colors. He got the Ukraine flag on. Look at this guy. What the hell?
Oh, yeah, I'm sticking with you.
No, I really mean it.
No, really. Thank you, sir.
And this guy with you does too.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Good. It was amazing. You did a good job. You were right on.
Yeah, you were.
So Trump says 2 minutes ago here, we're going to refresh in a second to get his recap. This is like a shouting match. Every line is being shouted. He definitely was shouting. It's over. He says it's over. Finally. Then he gives some stats here. Under Trump, Iran was weak and broke. Under Biden, Iran is rich and funding terror. He made Iran rich. I read that one already. What happened to Nancy? That was the other thing. Like, she didn't want to cheer like everybody else was cheering. 4 more years. 4 more years. It was like she was almost about to throw up in her mouth. 4 more. She couldn't even say it. Dude, the mask thing just is incredible to me. How they go back and forth with it. Sometimes they'll put it on. Sometimes they won't. It's usually almost always for the camera or to make somebody feel better about themselves. Crazy as hell, man. He says Joe Biden is a threat to democracy. He weaponized the government against his opponent. Didn't talk about that. Never happened before. Today's radical Democratic Party wants to legalize drugs, shoplifting, and the sexual mutilation of your children. But they want you to outlaw gas-powered Suburbans, Silverados, and Ford F-150s. Real change in the Dow adjusted for inflation, up 56% November 16 to January 21 under Trump, up 6% January 21 to March 2023 under Biden. Then they adjusted for inflation, plus 12, plus 66. It goes Adam Pencilnick, Shifty Shift. He's making the rounds, going to talk to all his favorite people. He's the Democratic president. Of course, he's going to go pander to them. straight up cold shoulder Marjorie Taylor Greene, though. She had her MAGA hat on straight away, right in his face, and he's like, psh, fuck this hoe. Yeah, better watch that hot mic. We'll turn it up here and listen. If they didn't have so much back noise. But somebody is wearing a mic over there. It could just be picking up by that camera. Or the several different cameras that are all looking at him right now.
I know I did if she says it. I know that happened.
We're walking this way, so we're going that way. Yep, we're going this way. Go back.
I'm going to refresh this Truth Social here. Trump says whether the fake news media likes admitting it or not, there was tremendous misrepresentation and lies in that speech. But the people of our country get it, and they know that November 5th will be most important day in our nation's history. November 5th, y'all don't forget about that. It took him over 40 minutes to get to immigration, then he said nothing about it. Dude, he did say a whole lot about nothing. He said, I bowed down to the Russian leader. He gave them everything, including Ukraine. I took away Nord Stream 2. He gave it to them. He was a puppet for Putin and Xi and virtually every other leader. I believe he's a puppet for Xi for sure. Like compromised beyond comprehension. Don't shake his hand. He says, don't shake his hand. He's been coughing into it the entire night. And now he's touching this lady on her lapel. She's touching his hand right now, too. The same hand he was coughing all into. Good thing the COVID ain't nothing like the flu now, so who cares? Trump was fucking hilarious. Tucker's live right now. Let's go see what he's got to offer. Go to Twitter for that. They cussing out there. They said you kicked ass and took names. Whoever he's talking to right now. Now he's coughing into the other hand right in front of people. So we can go to Tucker Carlson right quick.
And yet, Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, nodded gravely. Oh, of course, he is completely on board with Joe Biden on this Biden's signature issue. And that's not a guess. As of this afternoon, Mike Johnson is secretly supporting Biden's agenda, sending another $60 billion to the oligarchs in Ukraine. Johnson plans to let Democrats onto the floor of the House to vote for this. This is a stealthy procedural move designed to shield him and other Republicans from criticism. Oh, the Democrats did it. But that's exactly what it is. He's the Speaker of the House. He could stop it, but he won't because he's on board. So why is he on board? Is Mike Johnson representing his own voters as he backs Joe Biden's signature agenda item, a war against Russia? No, he's not. Republican voters in Louisiana are not for this. Republican voters nationally are not for this. They hate this. It has nothing to do with them. And it's insulting. As their country is invaded, we send billions to prevent the invasion of another country that we have nothing to do with? But the Uniparty demands this, so Mike Johnson is doing it. And so at some point you ask, well, why are they demanding this, actually? Why is war with Russia the most important thing? If you look at the numbers or a map, it wouldn't be obvious that Russia would be America's main enemy. There are other candidates. Could it be because Russia is the largest white Christian country in the world? Maybe. Could it be because they're getting rich from war? Well, that's certainly true. And there may be other reasons as well. We could guess. But we don't need to, because we know that it's happening, and we know that war against Russia is not the only war we're going to be engaged in, and not the only one that Biden announced tonight. Biden also told the country that we're going to have boots on the ground in Gaza. Really? Or admitted it, in fact. American forces have actually been there for months. Did you know that? Did anyone ask you? Has anyone explained to you, no matter where your sympathies lie, what the point of this is, when we'll know we've won? What's the objective here? American lives will be at risk. But of course, no one's told you. And of course, you already know the point. The point is to suck the United States into another foreign war that can't possibly help the United States, a war that can only hurt us and already is hurting us. And we're doing this not because it helps us, but because foreign interests are demanding that we do it. America is being used, as we so often have been. And the result of all of this is that the world is now closer to nuclear war at this moment than at any time in history, closer than it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. We have no idea where this is going. You never do once people start to die, once wars begin. No PowerPoint can tell you, no speech to a joint session can tell you where this is going. It's dynamic. It's completely unpredictable. And that's why wise people pause before accelerating. But there are no wise people in charge in either party, on either side. Do you think Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, has any clue what will happen in a war with Russia? Of course not. You can't say where this is going. This is so reckless that it qualifies as suicidal. And maybe they are. But the rest of us aren't. But the most interesting fact of the speech was the emphasis. There was not a meaningful word for the entire duration about the things that actually matter to people who live here, like crime or inflation or fentanyl or the foreign army now occupying our country. Joe Biden doesn't care. There was no upside for you in any of the things that he said. But he does have a present for you. He's got something to give you, something you want very badly. Here it is.
Look, it's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following, and with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you're right about that.
What? That's what I didn't understand either. You're about to realize just what they're right about that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Clearly, those bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women. But they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in 2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
Oh, well, you can't have a safe, clean country or groceries you can afford or schools that will educate your children. But you can't have abortion. You can have a lot more abortion. How's about some more abortion for you? That'll make you happy and free. You can have all the abortions you want. But, of course, you already could have all the abortions you want. Abortion is one thing, maybe the one thing, that's pretty easy to get in this country. Compare getting an abortion to getting an affordable new roof or a knee replacement.
Dude, let them kill each other. Let them kill all their babies. I don't really give a fuck. If they want to kill... Why would you be concerned that they want to kill your enemy's offspring? You know what I mean? That's just weird to me. Let them do it. I know it's going against this and that and everybody's beliefs or whatever, but it's a less of them for people to deal with. You know what I mean? It's like they kill themselves with their surgeries and their drugs and their abortions and all that shit. I mean, let their own numbers dwindle themselves, you know? I like Tucker as much as anybody else, but we got to keep going here. I appreciate everybody for coming to the show tonight. Definitely appreciate everybody being here. Devin, Six, Wolverines, Fawns, Latina jumped in there. Anthony, I think he got enough of Biden shit. He had to break out. Everybody that came onto the Rumble side, I definitely appreciate it. Everybody that wants to go to the Rumble side, jump over there now. We're about to end this thing and go over there and do some fun stuff. So I definitely appreciate everybody being here. Oh. There we go. I appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me. Shout out to all them rebels. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I definitely appreciate y'all. We're going to go over to the Rumble channel and do some fun stuff over there. Yes, Atomic, we are going to the Rumble channel. I appreciate y'all. Jump over there now. The link is in the description of this video. Shout out to the moderators, Anthony McQuaid, Atomic Tabasco, Cat F, Zetawichi's Cane Sword, Latina and Cali, my man 50 Grand, SE Wolverines, and the beautiful Miss Sonia's Scrapbook. The best damn co-host on the internets. Thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said again, I'll see you, if you don't jump over to Rumble, I'll see you on Tuesday. Peace out, everybody.